What if I told you that a man who couldn't imagine a single meal without meat gave it up forever after one unexpected night? No doctor warned him, no one forced him, no miracle happened in front of his eyes. Yet, when morning arrived, he was a completely different person. What happened that night? Stay with me until the end, because this story might make you look at food and life in a completely different way. Aman was a successful businessman in Delhi. He loved good food, expensive restaurants, and weekend barbecues with friends. If anyone suggested eating vegetarian food, he would laugh and say, "Life is meant to be enjoyed. Why should I stop eating what I love?" One rainy evening, while returning home from work, traffic came to a complete stop. Curious, a man stepped out of his car and saw a truck parked on the roadside. It wasn't carrying furniture or vegetables. It was filled with frightened chickens packed tightly inside small cages. Rain was pouring heavily. The birds were soaked, shivering, and desperately trying to move. But there was hardly any space. One little chicken stretched its neck through the wire cage and looked directly into a man's eyes. For a few seconds, everything around him became silent. He couldn't explain why. He had seen chickens countless times before, but this time felt different. There was fear in those tiny eyes. Not anger, not hatred, just a silent desire to stay alive. The traffic started moving again, and Aman drove home. But the image refused to leave his mind. That night, his family sat together for dinner. His favorite chicken curry was served. As he picked up the first piece, he suddenly remembered those frightened eyes. His hand froze. For the first time in his life, he quietly placed the spoon back on the table. His wife looked at him with surprise. "Is everything okay?" Aman simply nodded. "I'm just not hungry." The next morning, while walking in a nearby park, he noticed an elderly man feeding birds, squirrels, and stray dogs. The old man smiled and offered Aman a handful of grains. Without thinking, Aman joined him. After a few minutes, the old man gently said, "Every living creature values its life just as much as we value ours. Compassion begins the day we stop seeing them as objects and start seeing them as lives." Those simple words stayed in Aman's heart. Days passed, then weeks. No one forced him to change. No one argued with him. He simply found himself choosing vegetarian meals more often. The craving slowly faded. The peace inside him slowly grew. Months later, his friends invited him to a barbecue. One of them laughed and asked, "What happened? You used to be the biggest meat lover among us." Aman smiled and replied, "Nothing happened to my taste. Something happened to my heart." His friends became silent. He continued, "I'm not saying everyone must live the way I do. This is simply the choice that gives me peace. Every meal reminds me that kindness is also a form of strength." Years later, Aman often shared one lesson with young people. He would say, "Real spirituality is not about proving that you're better than someone else. It is about becoming a little more compassionate than you were yesterday. Whether you eat meat or not is your personal decision. But before every choice, ask yourself one simple question. Does this decision bring more kindness into my life or less?" And perhaps that one honest question is where every spiritual journey truly begins. The choice is yours. Always.